So let's start our second part, that is electromagnetic spectrum. This is one of the most important topic. We also discussed in our early lectures, but that was in brief. Today we will read about the detail of this topic. And electromagnetic spectrum is actually, because from the next week we will starting optics, so this is also related to optics and the electromagnetic that we are studying now. What is electromagnetic spectrum? The electromagnetic spectrum is the range of frequencies of electromagnetic radiations and their respective wavelengths and photon energies. So what are these frequencies? Because it is the range of frequencies. No matter what human being, animals, birds, all these things, and also the microorganisms, they all work on or operate on frequencies. For example, if we take the example of telecommunication work on a specific frequency. This frequency is like 900 to 1800 or 21. So 5G is working on high frequency. Our Wi-Fi is working on 2.5G gigahertz, and our wireless depend upon 5 gigahertz. So all these things operate on some specific frequency. So same like that, human beings, birds, animals, microorganisms, we also work on or we also relate to some frequencies. Before the earthquake came, the small insects and organisms, they come out from the earth. Why they come out from the earth? Scientists studied that before the earthquake, there are some primary waves that we cannot hear, we cannot see. They are generated from the earth, and those small organisms can hear those. That's why they come out of the from their holes or from the earth. So the main reason telling is about that everything work on a specific frequency, and for sure, if we know the frequency of that thing, like we know that microwave work on this frequency, so we control microwave. We know that telecommunication work on this frequency, so we control the telecommunication RF signal. We know that infrared work on this frequency, so we make use of infrared. We make remote controls and other things. We know that X-ray work on this frequency, so we make use of X-rays. So same like that in gamma rays, and for insects, for humans, for birds and animals, if we know their frequencies, we can control them. How? Like dogs can hear a specific low frequencies that human cannot hear. So if we know that frequency, then many companies also make the equipment, or they make such type of devices. If we play those devices, then only dog can hear that voice and dog can respond to us. So same like birds, if we know the frequency of the on which birds are operating, and we make a device and we play that device, then we can also check the reaction of the birds and we can control their things. And in many part of the world, they are doing this. How they are doing this? In winter and in summer, many birds fly from one continent or from one country to another. But due to nowadays change of geographical things, like before there were urban areas, but now there are Now there are no fields and no lakes, rivers like it was in before. There are cities now, but now the human beings, they make the artificial islands, they make artificial beaches. But how the birds will come there? They make use of these frequencies. They will play that the frequency with the birds are operating, the specific bird. They will sometime play the voices or only the frequencies, and the birds will be attracted toward those islands and they will rest there or migrate there. So these frequencies are having very important impact in our life. So one by one we will see what are these spectrums and what are their applications, all these things. And before we start this, I want to show you one animation video that is related to spectrum. I think there is no voice there, you can't hear them, but if you will search on YouTube you will also get the voice for that. You can search for an introduction to the electromagnetic spectrum and you will get this video too. So let's start. So from the beginning they will show that each and everything in our daily life is related to electromagnetic spectrum or related to frequency. All these devices, they are operating, these are on infrared, so they are operating on different type of frequencies. So gamma rays from the nucleus, X rays, these are types of rays or frequencies or electromagnetic spectrum. We will study all this in detail today. So electromagnetic spectrum, or it is also called EMS. So electromagnetic waves, they are traveling, and the two hump of these, they are mixture of electric and magnet. Now you can see they are not combining with each other. One is horizontal and one is vertical because one is electrical wave and another one is magnetic wave. So I want to tell here one thing, that how it come to invent, how they were invented, because people were saying that there is a fire, how we will feel the heat of the fire. There is something which is bringing that heat from the fire to us, and that heat is electromagnetism. See, these are electric waves and these are magnetic waves, so they help transfer energy, no matter heat energy, electrical energy, anything. So this is the wavelength called the two humps, or you can say crest. Higher the frequency, so what is now frequency? Frequency is the wavelength per second. See, as we go higher, frequency increases, wavelength also increases, because frequency is increasing. Frequency is wavelength per second. So everywhere around us there are these electromagnetic waves, because they are transferring energy. even not energy, but we also see the things like we are seeing that these vases, these are red in color, these curtains are in brownish color, these sofas they are in green color. These are all because of electromagnetism, because there is a spectrum of visible light. See, without visible light we can't see any colors, but with the visible light spectrum we see the colors of all the things in the universe. And this visible light spectrum is one of the widest or biggest spectrum. This is visible light, that is from 492 nanometer to 577 nanometer. So you can watch this video. You can get also the voice video from the YouTube. You just search the introduction to electromagnetic spectrum and you will get this video. So let's start our electromagnetic spectrum. So the first one is this gamma rays. So what are gamma? Gamma rays have the shortest wavelength and highest frequency, because highest frequency, higher the frequency is, more the short the wavelength is, because they have more wavelengths and the frequency is wave per second. In the electromagnetic spectrum, it is generated by changes in the energy level in the nucleus. Nucleus is the center point, so if there is any change in the nucleus, it forms the gamma rays. And why we use these gamma rays? Where? To kill the cancer cells, like in therapy, cancer therapy, and in the study of nucleus of atom, killing the cancer cells, making pictures of brain, and inspection tools in many industries, and they are very harmful gamma rays. What are X-rays? These are mostly used in medical equipments, for surgeries, for dentists, medicines. Custom officers on our airports, they use X-rays for our luggage. And in industries like in medical, we use these to fill the or check the bones and from inside body. So in construction industry, it is also used to find the cracks in the structure, like cracks in the bones in the medical field. In ultraviolet waves, UV light is at a higher frequency and energy than the violet rays. UV light can kill the microorganism. That's why in the labs sometimes when we do experiment, we turn on the UV light to clean the environment from the microorganisms, and then we perform the experiments. And after the experiments, we also put our hands, gloves, and all the things to sanitize in the UV light or ultraviolet waves. But the excess use of UV light can make our skin burn, and other side effects like skin cancers and sunburns, etc. Visible light. Visible light is a part of electromagnetic spectrum which can be detected from the human eye. The visible light has its own spectrum which consists of 7 colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. That is also in the rainbow. Some of the uses of light is in optical fibers, in medicines, and in telecommunication. Visible light spectrum is most wide spectrum, and in the future visible light is also going to be used in communication systems, because in radio frequencies the spectrum is going to be filled now. Infrared waves. Heat can be transferred through infrared radiation. We often think of infrared as being the same thing as heat because it makes our skin burn or feel warm. So infrared is used for navigations through the fog, because it can travel through the fog. Visible light is affected from the fog but not the infrared, as it is less easily scattered or compared to the visible light. in medical treatment to warm injured muscles or sport injuries. Infrared, there are equipments of infrared which can help relax our muscles or to recover our injured muscles. Microwaves, one of the most important use in microwaves are in everyday life in oven. When we switch on our microwave oven, it gives off electromagnetic wave that bounce around inside. That's why we said that excess use of microwave can create a harmful effect on our health, because the things we are cooking inside the microwave oven, they are actually absorbing those microwaves, and they are very harmful for us. So what are the other uses of microwaves? It's used in radar communication, as it is not easily blocked by the buildings or trees, and analysis of the final molecular, useful demonstration of all waves in macroscopic scale, telephone communication. The two most important communications, or you can say three, are for microwaves are microwave oven for heating purposes, for telecommunication and the mobile communication. On the towers you can see the round antennas. Those round antennas are microwave. They connect, they give the connectivity between two towers. And the third use is in the military for the radar communication. Radio waves, that is called RF waves, or in simple words, our mobile signals, or in telecommunication, all these are radio waves. So radio waves are the electromagnetic waves with the longest wavelength and lowest frequency. So lowest frequency, that's why it can go far, and one tower can give the signal to around 20 to 25 kilometers also. What are their uses? Obviously, radio and television communication, radar and satellite communication, navigation or ship aircraft. So you see radio communication has most highest applications nowadays. That's why the radio spectrum is going to be fill. So alternate in the future, we can use visible light communication spectrum for the support of radio waves. So this was today's lecture in which we cover electromagnetic spectrum, and you can also read these more applications and details from our book. And from the next week we are going to start our new topic, that is optical physics. So thank you for today's lecture.